I used to think grief was loud. I thought it would come like a scream, like collapsing to the floor, like something dramatic enough that people would notice and understand. But that's not how it happened for me. For me, grief was quiet. It was slow. It was watching my father disappear while he was still breathing, while still technically alive, while the world insisted everything was normal because he was married and taken care of. My stepmother married my dad 10 years ago. I was 35 at the time, not a child, not naive, not desperate for approval. I wasn't looking for a new parent. I wasn't even looking for closeness. I just wanted respect, basic human decency. A shared understanding that when you marry someone, you don't get to erase the family that existed before you. But from the beginning, she didn't see us as family. She saw us as competition. At first, it was easy to ignore. Small comments, said with a smile. Passive remarks about how often we called. How emotional we were. How demanding adult children could be. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was being protective, that I needed to let go and trust my dad's judgment. He seemed happy enough, and I didn't want to be the reason he felt torn. So I swallowed things. I swallowed the way conversations changed when she entered the room. I swallowed the way he suddenly sounded cautious on the phone. I swallowed the excuses when plans were canceled, plans he made, not us. She's not feeling well. It's just not a good weekend. Next time. There was always a next time that never came. What we didn't know then was that she was listening. Every phone call, every conversation. She'd sit quietly nearby, not saying a word, collecting information like ammunition. We didn't find out until years later, when too many things finally clicked into place. How she knew details we never shared. How arguments would erupt over words we didn't realize she'd heard. How he'd suddenly repeat her opinions back to us, word for word, as if they were his own. By the time we understood, the damage was already done. Then came the grandchildren. My kids loved their grandfather. He used to light up around them. Used to laugh differently, softer, like he remembered who he was before life hardened him. Slowly those moments disappeared. He stopped coming to birthdays, stopped visiting, stopped calling. Meanwhile, her grandchildren were everywhere, photos, stories, events. It was obvious who was allowed access and who wasn't, and when we questioned it, we were labeled difficult, ungrateful, disrespectful. That's how control works. It convinces everyone else that you are the problem. Then my dad got sick. Cancer doesn't just attack the body. It strips away autonomy, independence, dignity, and my stepmother used that vulnerability like a weapon. She became the gatekeeper to everything. His health, his schedule, his phone, his voice. She decided who deserved information and who didn't. She refused to update us on his condition. Refused completely. And then came the text message, a group text telling us that, because we were too mean to her, we would no longer receive updates about our father's health. Too mean, and what had we done? We didn't send her cards or flowers on Mother's Day. That was the justification she used to cut us off while our father was dying. I still remember staring at my phone, rereading that message, trying to understand how someone could be so cruel and still believe they were righteous. How someone could weaponize politeness while denying basic humanity. Sometimes, late at night, my phone would ring. It would be my dad. His voice was weak, thin, like it was traveling a long distance just to reach me. He whispered. He sounded afraid. He called because she forgot to take his phone away from him. He was so sick by then that if she took it, he couldn't physically get it back. Those calls were short, heavy. He never complained. Never accused. He just said he loved me, over and over. Like he was afraid he wouldn't get another chance. Then he died. And she didn't tell us. 3 days passed. 3 days where the world kept spinning while ours had already collapsed. She waited deliberately because she wanted to make sure we couldn't attend the funeral. She wanted the room, the sympathy, the narrative. She wanted to speak about us without us there to contradict her version of reality. She wrote the obituary, and in doing so, she erased him. She spelled his biological family's names wrong, left out his parents, his siblings, the people who shaped him, loved him before her. She listed her children and grandchildren as bonus family, as if they were the center of his life, as if his own blood was an afterthought. Reading it felt like losing him again. And then there was the insurance policy. We knew it existed. Not because she told us, she never would, but because our dad mentioned it years earlier. It wasn't large, it wasn't dramatic. It was simply something he wanted his children to have. Something fair. Something intentional. She was furious. She refused to give us the paperwork. Refused to give us his social security number so we could look it up ourselves. Accused us of wanting to commit fraud. Accused us of trying to open credit cards in his name. As if death certificates didn't exist. As if her accusations weren't just another form of punishment. She told us we didn't deserve anything. She said she was angry that he didn't leave the policy to her children instead. That was the moment something in me finally broke. Grief, when disrespected long enough, hardens into something sharp. I had spent years being quiet, being accommodating, being the bigger person, watching my father vanish while still alive. So I stopped being quiet. I didn't scream, I didn't threaten. I didn't confront her directly. I did something quieter. Something persistent. Something that mirrored the chaos she had created. I had her phone number, her email address, her home address, and I signed her up for everything. Every MLM, every religious outreach, roofing estimates, window replacements, endless mailing lists, fake vacation wins designed to sell your information again and again, things that never stop, things you can't escape. My daughter helped me find even more, shaking her head at how cruel someone could be and still believe they were untouchable. The calls didn't stop, the emails multiplied, the mail piled up. I heard later she was forced to change her phone number entirely. It got that bad. And I felt relief, not guilt, not shame, relief, because justice doesn't always look like forgiveness. Sometimes it looks like reclaiming power after being silenced for years. And the ending, there was a policy. My mother found old tax returns, proof, enough to track it down without her help. And we got it, every penny our father intended for us. I sent my stepmother a screenshot of the payout. No message, no explanation. Just proof that she failed to take that from us too. Some people will say I went too far. They didn't watch their father disappear while still alive. They weren't punished for not buying flowers. They weren't erased from an obituary. They weren't denied the right to say goodbye. I didn't start this. I just refused to let her be the only one who decided how it ended. She got her peace. I got my closure. And if this is what closure looks like for me, then I accept it.